hunters arise. The comic hunter is here.
Hello, hello, the comic book hunter here again. I am Ashen, and I will be the host of the show today. I had a little bit of an issue there with my last attempt at live streaming this. Pretty much everything went wrong that could potentially go wrong when you were trying to live stream. So, in lieu of that, I decided to just reboot the stream. So, once again, sorry if anyone missed out on that. That is the usual around here. Unfortunately, because there always seems to be a infinite number of bumps in the road. Anyway, if you are not familiar with this show, what I do here is I talk about comics from the past week that I purchased. I sort of review them for you, give you little tidbits of story. Secondly, I usually do something in the middle of the show, talk about something random. So I might have a little something packed away. Just watched a movie that I might want to talk about real quick. And then in the final portion of my show, I will give you my recommendations for comics coming out next week and why. All right. Well, I do appreciate anyone who may stop in eventually in this live stream. I did have people that showed up for my last live stream, but as usual, as soon as that happens, everything goes off the rails. So let's see if I could at least put a good show on for anyone that comes in here, probably after the live stream is already done, because that is about how things work. So let's start. We got comics this week. Not too many, just 3 of them. And I will start with showing you X-Men number 3. Gotta love that Alex Ross art. It's definitely beautiful. This comic book is interesting. This is sort of the hub for, anything in the new X-Men, the Jonathan Hickman era of X-Men. This comic is basically the hub for it. Sets up a lot of stories and things that may be followed up in other issues, or they may be later followed up in this. You can never really tell, but there are a lot of threads that get put off, even in just the first 3 issues of this comic so far. All right, let me go ahead and show you a bit of art from this comic book. There you go. This is a group of people that are intruding on X-Men property. Very easily, I might add. I don't know what the deal is with these characters, how they can so easily get around, and how they sort of have superhuman powers. But it's definitely an interesting concept that they're going with these characters. I don't really want to spoil too much, but it's an odd direction. It's definitely an odd direction. These characters do not like humankind, and they basically want to do away with them. But the thing that is stopping them from doing away with humankind is mutant kind. So, one thing at a time. They thought they had everything figured out, but now their plans have to change and they have to adapt for this new situation. So there you have it. Not too much happens in this issue. I can't say I was the biggest fan of it. I think it is the weakest out of the 3 issues that I've read so far. I did enjoy it okay, but it just kind of left me like, meh. I am going to continue reading this comic book. Maybe this was just a weak issue. Maybe this will be resolved in somebody else's issue. I don't know. But what I do know is that it wasn't the worst thing ever, especially compared to modern Marvel. This definitely wasn't the worst thing ever. So if that sounds good to you, then I would definitely go check it out. All right, all right. So what do we have next? We have dun, 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 Venom 2099. Yes. This issue apparently blew up, and I was unaware of that. But yeah, this issue introduces a new Venom, and that seems to be sort of the thing that's happening with these 2099 comic books. I didn't get a chance to read the Ghost Rider one yet. There's actually a cover I wanted that's coming into my local comic shop. But a lot of these comics are introducing new characters, and I never really read Venom 2099. I know he was introduced in Spiderman 2099, but I never got that far into the series. I always enjoyed the character of Spiderman 2099, but I've never really gotten into the new Venom. This new character, this is just going from not knowing anything about the original 2099 Venom. This new character is not half bad, though. I like her origin story, and I kind of like what they did with her, and they're setting her up for new things. They tie Noel into this issue. There was a little bit of beak, yes. There was a bit of weak writing in this comic book. There were some things that just didn't make too much sense to me, like things like, oh, wouldn't that be designed to hold something or whatever? I don't know, but like I said, I try not to spoil too much for you on this program, but there is good payoffs, there is good art, and there is good action. And if you like Venom, you'll probably dig this. It still has that hard edge, and it has an interesting new host for the symbiote. So anyway, if that sounds good to you, go ahead and check it out. Here's some art. almost left this one behind. Here is some art from the new Venom comic book. Unless anything. Yes, this Venom is still quite harsh, and I do enjoy seeing it lash out. So there you have it. There is some pretty good art in this book, but I didn't want to spoil too much of it. I just thought this sequence was really impactful, showing a bloodied man and Venom taunting him with his life. So there you go. All right, so we got Venom 2099 out of the way. And next up we have the comic book I keep harping on. Collapser number 6. All right, if you've not been collecting the Collapser comic book, why not? Honestly, I'm really sad. Found out from my local comic shop that this is indeed the last issue of Collapser. Let me go ahead and pull up that art. Collapser number 6. This is the end. And it's sad because I've been enjoying this series so much, and I hope that they continue to use this character in the future. Collapser's been just such a great event, and I've been enjoying the art and the storytelling. It's very free-flowing. Got sort of Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it, with sort of like that extreme Lobo sort of action violence, with the free-flowing style. Oh man, I am really sad though. I'm really sad that is that's coming to an end. Anyway, that was the 3 comics that I picked out this week. If any of that interests you, go ahead and check them out, and have a good time reading that. It should be noted that Venom cover I got apparently blew up in price. It's worth like $40 or something, and it's not even a rare variant. It's just the Ron Lim one. It was didn't cost any extra. I can only imagine how much the 1 in 25 is going for now. But yeah, that was it was an interesting read, and it blew up in price. So that's good to know. I guess a lot of people like that. Okay, so I guess I'm going to talk about a film in the center here. Now that I have a little bit of extra time, and what I will say is I started watching Suspiria, the remake of Suspiria, not Dario Argento's Suspiria. I don't even know who directed the latest film, and so far I do not like it. If you're a classic horror movie fan, stuff like Suspiria, very striking imagery, very bold storytelling, a mystery that unravels, all that kind of good stuff, just masterfully done. This movie is not that so far, unless they do something at the excuse me, at the end that really flips the script. I'm pretty disappointed. A few things I'm going to mention is one, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Suspiria. If you haven't seen Suspiria, stop watching this for a few minutes while I talk about it, because this is going to be spoiler stuff, and then come back. Or if you start watching this movie, it's going to be spoiled anyway, the original film. Uh, so anyway, the new Suspiria gives you no mystery about this dancing school. The people that head the school are witches, and they're basically sacrificing students through dark magic, and they don't even you don't even know what's going on in the first place. But this new film has no mystery. They just spell it out for you right off the bat that these teachers and faculty are witches, at least most of them. And you get to see the black magic in play really quick on. There's no mystery behind that any longer. You didn't used to know what was going on with the unseen force and all this kind of stuff, but they break everything down that a toddler could understand the plot of what's going on, and removing any sheen of intrigue just to serve the narrative purpose of getting it all out there. So I was a bit disappointed with that. And also, they keep going on about some kind of a hostage event. And dear God, this better pay off at some point in the story, because this whole hostage thing and releasing prisoners and all this kind of stuff, they literally bring this up about once every 5 minutes throughout the entire film. And it goes on and on and on. So I hope it actually leads up to something. I've only gotten maybe like a third to a half of the way through the film, and yeah, so far I'm just really unhappy with it. uh, very amateur so far, and even the architecture in the original film was incredible. The school was memorable, and the school in this film, the dance school, just looks like a normal building. It doesn't look like there's anything special about it at all. And so there's nothing that really stands out about the school, this film. The acting is okay. I do like a few of the things that they did, but it lacks all the character of the original so far. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I'm sure that's what everyone wants to. I'm sure that's what everyone wanted to hear about some horror movie in the middle of comic book talk. But let's continue on. First comic that I recommend next week is X Force. Yes, I believe this is X Force number 2. X Force number 1 was such a good book. If you're into Wolverine going and fighting like zombie assassin, Frankenstein assassins and stuff like that, that is where the last book was, and it was glorious. I loved it, and I believe the writer of this book is going on to do a solo Wolverine book, which I am looking forward to, but the previews did not look impressive for it. But after reading that other last book, I'm definitely on board for whatever they're going to be doing with this. So definitely go check out X-Force number 2. I have high expectations about this series after the last one we went through. All right, Batman Curse of the White Knight. Definitely got to be picking this up. What issue are we on here? Okay, we're on number 5. It's hard to tell. You collect this stuff so long, and then you got 2 series with similar titles. But Batman Curse of the White Knight has been a fun ride so far. It's really building. I believe there are 8 issues in this series, and I am enjoying it so far. It's not immediately gratifying as the last series was, but it is definitely leading somewhere wonderful, and they've already done some great emotional punches with this and really developed the story nicely. So definitely check that out if you like Batman, or if you like Batman the Animated Series, because this is kind of set in that universe. Very enjoyable. uh, Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. Now, Frank Miller's been a bit uh, odd as a writer recently. I didn't dig his last Superman Year One book very much, but this, I'm not sure what to make of this yet. I want to believe in Frank Miller. You know, I like his how he goes so extreme with Batman, and I don't know what he's going to do with this. But having introducing a new young Batman kind of has me intrigued. I want to see what his Batman Beyond is going to be like. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely try this out. And if you dig Batman, if you want to see what Frank Miller does, maybe something pretty crazy with this, then at least pick up issue number 1. I know I'm gonna be trying it out. Fallen Angels, yes, I'm going on this issue number 3 of Fallen Angels coming out. And what can I say? This has been a really good story so far, but the art just got worse, like drastically worse from issue number 1 to number 2. The artist clearly draws over or uses filters over 3D models, or a little of both. And it was so bad in the last issue, like amateur art because of it. And this one, I don't know. We'll see. I'm digging the story a lot. You know, I want to know what happens with Apoth, who he is or what he is, and where this is all leading. I'm digging the character exploration uh, here, that they go in depth with Psylocke. I'm sorry, no. Jeez, I'm gonna get wrung out for this. I can't think of her name right now. This character on the front. But whatever the case is, sorry. It's like one of those things when you always know the name, and then as soon as you want to bring it up, you can't for reasons. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting book so far, and I'm going to be checking it out again. But if the art gets any worse than the last issue, which I don't think it possibly could, then I'm definitely dropping this book like a hot potato, because it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace to the story that's being told. Ghost Rider, yes, by Ed Brisson. I've been loving this series so far. I haven't been this excited for a Ghost Rider story in a long time, and there have been ones that came and gone in the past that I did not give a crap about. But this story is fun, awesome. I just love the angle that they're going with this, with Johnny Blaze becoming this crazed god king of hell. And I don't. A spoiler alert. I'm going to go into the story just a little bit. Um, there's a war coming, and Mephisto, I don't know if he's actually playing a role in it or not. He is sort of a prisoner, but there's some interesting stuff building up. Danny Ketch had his powers stripped away because he tried to stop Johnny Blaze from going so crazy, and didn't work out very well, So I don't know. I'm really excited for this, and I hope you check it out too. Because when a series is as good as this, you really got to support it. Vote with your wallet. Spider-Man 2099, probably one of my favorite 2099 characters. I always loved him because he was more Punisher-like, in my opinion, than any other Spider-Man. Um, I've been digging this whole series so far. Even Jodie Hauser wrote that Venom book that came out, and I do not like her as a writer at all, and I thought that book was pretty good. Are they going to replace Spider-Man 2099 with a new character? I don't know. But they seem to be introducing a lot of new characters. Even if you don't like Spider-Man, maybe check it out. Just put a comic on hold, see what's going on in it. And it couldn't hurt. I have been digging this whole rebirth thing though, and I want to see how it fits into the Marvel landscape over here. And I suggest you check it out too. Doom 2099, I have no expectations of this book. I never even read the original Doom 2099, but this series has been going so good so far, even with the traditionally terrible writers. I've been enjoying these stories. So I want to see what they're going to do with Doom 2099. The little preview you got of the Watcher being involved with Doom 2099 intrigued me. And let's just see where it goes from there. All right. Well, let's see. How am I doing today? 20 minutes. That's not too bad. I got a lot of space covered, got a lot of books covered, and I hope that helps. And let's see. I do have somebody watching. Well, I appreciate you being here, even if you don't interact. Uh, I did mess up, and usually once you mess up a live stream and then go back in, like nobody attends, because it's sort of like a false start. People get blue balls. But thank you for stopping by, and thank you to anyone who watches this later. I hope that I'm fulfilling a service in giving you guys my reviews and recommendations. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Yes.